So the idea is that you find buyers to find sellers. You find buyers to find sellers. Something like that, yeah. It's not a haiku. Hey, what's up, bootstrappers? This is Ryan Nickel coming at you. And I wanted to share this video with you. So, okay, I'm driving my car. I just picked it up. I had I had the gas pump go out yesterday. And I'm like sitting in my home driveway, like starting my car. I'm like, it's cranking, but it's not going. So, I can't tell if I'm on a curb. I'm on a curb. This is a low profile car. It has a very low profile. I would get high and centered right here. Maybe I should drive my car first and then do the video. I'm gonna cut this guy off. Because I can. Alright. I love this car. Dodge Challenger, baby. Alright, so driving with my windows down because I had my fuel pump changed and I had just filled it up, like literally like filled it up, and so the guy's changing, it's like psh, oil like or gas everywhere. So my car smells like gas. So I don't want to roll the windows and be like, high as a kite here. So we're gonna do it this way with the windows down. I'll just talk a little bit louder so you can hear me. So all right, so here's the idea that I had this morning. So right now this market is absolutely crazy, ridiculous, off the rails. There are so many buyers out there and not enough sellers. These sellers are just like, oh, I got some squeaky brakes. Can you guys hear that? Whoop, whoop. So, all right, so that's the challenge right now. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. So I got a lot of guys that they've seen my houses, they see what I have for sale, and they're like, hey, I want to buy one of your houses. I got some cash. This guy yesterday reached out to me. He's like, hey, I got some money, and he got about 150 G's that he wants to be able to buy a house with, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, man, 150 G's, that's all good. However, the challenge is finding the right property. So he goes, all right, I noticed there's a guy on Facebook Marketplace selling a bunch of stuff, tons of stuff, and I know he owns his house. So I want to be able to buy this house. It's a great property for me and my family, blah, blah, blah. So he's like, reach out to this guy. I'm like, no, you reach out to the guy and tell him you're interested in buying it and then hand off to me. All right, well, I'm going to go over a bridge right now, so it's going to get a little bit windy. So here's the idea. Oh, I got motorcycles, I got wind. I got all kinds of stuff going on this morning. This is great. We'll be off this bridge here and then down to Surface Street in just a second. So, the idea is that you find buyers to find sellers. You find buyers to find sellers. Something like that, yeah. It's not a haiku. All right, here we go. Eyes on the road. Coming off. Woo! Like, I have done this before. Like, you don't have time to go and call every single seller and to whether or not you're going to have a buyer for that property. So why not task your buyers, the ones that have the dough, when they find a property that they like, to contact the seller or to contact you, and then you contact the seller and see, hey, what's the motivation? Can we make this work? Especially if they have like something like 150 G's. You know what? Most people don't have that much equity that they're looking to be cashed out of. Some do. I mean, the prices have risen, don't get me wrong here. But most don't. Like, you find a property, the guy has $150,000 that he can put down. You find a property and the seller has, let's say, $80,000 in equity, and you step yourself into the middle. You negotiate it, you create the terms, you create the opportunity, you give the seller the 80 grand that he's looking for, you sell it to this guy for 100, you just pocketed $20,000, plus you get the payments over the spread on the payments. Because you're the one that's negotiating the deal. The seller has trust in you because you're the person that's doing this and knows how to do this. That's the whole thing. And then the buyer, he's like, yeah, man, I'm just like doing what I gotta do. So that's the motivation right there. So you don't have to go out there and rush and try to talk to every single seller that's out there and be like, nope. When you can actually go with the buyer in pocket. I saw this happen recently. So where my mother-in-law lives, there's a house down the street. It was a FSBO. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So we were out there last 2 weeks ago, or a week and a couple of days ago, out there, and get some gas here. Looks like I lost a quarter tank when they changed it. Gas spilling everywhere. So what happened was we went out there. I walked the neighborhood after dinner. I'm like, okay, I gotta get my steps in. My goal is I get 12,000 steps a day. Just it's part of my fitness journey. And I'm out there and I'm walking the neighborhood. I see this FSBO. I'm like, oh, it's cool, nice looking house. It's a little 3-2. And I was out there for Mother's Day, and guess what? House is no longer a FSBO. I had a sign in the yard from a new real estate agent, and it also had a pending sign. So I guarantee you this is what happened. Real estate agent had a buyer. They went and knocked on the door and said, hey, I got a person for your house. Let me go ahead and write it up. Let me represent it. I'll do either full commission or I'll do a reduced commission, because that's how most people go FSBO, because they want to not avoid the commission. So maybe they did a reduced commission, and only a buyer paid commission or something like that instead of seller's commissions. Who knows? I don't know. But what I do know is the house is pending. So possible situation is they went over there, knocked on the door. Hello, Mr. Seller. I got a buyer that's interested in this house. If I can represent the buyer, would you go ahead and sell the house? Can I go ahead and write up a contract to get this house listed and sold? And that's what happened. Maybe it was a 4% deal. I don't know, 1% from the seller, 3% from the buyer. However it works out, I don't know. I really don't care. The fact of the matter is the house is now pending with the new agent when it was a FSBO last week. Why can't you do the exact same thing? You got a buyer, they got cash, they can put, a large lump sum down or whatever, or enough to cash out the seller's equity or a good portion of it. Go knock on their door and say, hello, hey, Mr. Seller, I see you have your house for sale. I'm interested in buying it. You gotta be careful on how you word this now, because you're not representing anybody. You yourself are a principal in this transaction. So you gotta be able to, word this and make sure that this works so that you are within an ethical and a legal guidelines there. So if this is a home that said buyer has found and has identified basically as a home that they want to move into with their family, and they have the funds, and you've already verified they have the funds to do this, then personally, what I would do in my situation, I can't give you advice here. I'm not a real estate agent or lawyer or anything like that. I'm not giving you advice. This is what I would do in my own situation. This was my situation that I had done in the past, and what I would do again in the future is seller comes to me or buyer comes to me and says, hey, I got this much money. I like this house. Can you work something out? I'd buy it from you. You want to buy it from me? Sure, no problem. I would then go and knock on the door. Hey, Mr. Seller, I'm interested in buying your house. Let's figure this thing out, how much equity they have, what's going on. I'd like to buy it. Here's the cash that I can pay as far as equity, buy you out, but I need you to be able to be some flexibility on terms. I can take over payments. I can make those payments for you on your behalf and still give you your equity so you can move on to do what you need to do. I may even be able to give you a little bit more equity based on the situation, how much my buyer has. And then I go ahead and I tie up the deal, I write the contract, and now I go ahead and I sandwich myself right in the middle between between the seller, myself here, and then I got my buyer, the person who's going to be buying it from me. So I am a principal in this transaction. I am buying it from the seller and I'm selling it to a buyer. And that's how I would do it. It's the exact same thing that happened with that FSBO down the street from where my mother-in-law lives. Exact same thing, except the agent, rather than being a principal, was an agent. I'm going to be a principal. I'm going to be actually own. I'm going to stay in the deal. I'm going to get the cash flow. I'm going to get the profits. I'm going to get all that stuff that I can from this particular deal. So this is something you can do, and it can save you time and energy. So you don't have to scrambling trying to find properties and then hoping that you may have a buyer for it. Have your buyers become your marketers. It's one of the easiest ways to get new properties, and I've done this time and time again. It's one of the best situations that I've done is that the buyer will come to me and say, hey, I got this property. And of course, they have to have the goods. And so anyway, I'm Ryan Nickel. This is Bootstrap Real Estate Investing 101, simple, out-of-the-box marketing. Just remember, all it takes is one deal to change your entire financial future. So why not have it be this one? All right, talk to you guys later.